Hi, everybody. Welcome into a special edition of Sal's House here on the first day of November. We are live at TSE Buffalo 3170 Orchard Park Road. It is their big public signing event. We got three current players, two former players for Buffalo football, Buffalo Bills. You got Deion Dawkins today, Jackson Hawes, Ray Davis, Steve Tasker, and Daryl Telley, who are in the back signing right now. And I got my guy Brian Koziol with me today, joining me. Hey, buddy, good to see you, man.
Same here. Thanks, Sal.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having an exciting event here today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This is their big public signing. Come on down. We got a lot going on. We are actually going to give away, while we are here, 2 tickets to tomorrow's game against the Kansas City Chiefs. How about that? Somebody's going to win that. I am actually holding the winner in my hand. I can't reveal who that is right now, but if you entered in, you have a chance to win. And if you didn't enter in, you got a chance to win a whole lot of other things. Come on down. Check this out, Brian. Grab one of those mini mystery. There you go. Some mystery football here. Got a mystery mini helmet. These are autographed. We're going to be giving those away today.
That's sweet.
All right, so we're going to do that today. And we're going to be talking all about the Sabres game against the Caps tonight, the Bills game against the Chiefs tomorrow, and everything else that's going on in Buffalo sports. First thing I need to do is ask all of you. I got Frankie in the chat right now, and I got some other people coming in already. How do we sound? How do we look? I always want to make sure that the public who's watching, who isn't here, can hear us. Because if you're here, you got a speaker and we got everything going on here. But just give me a thumbs up if you can see us and you can hear us okay. Frankie, I appreciate that. Or anybody else coming into the chat, appreciate that. At Sal Sports, of course. And we want to thank all of our sponsors here at Sal's House. Every single time we do a show, it does not matter. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate that. So Brian looks a lot better than me. He's got all the hair. I don't. But as long as we sound good and look good to you, we don't care. All right, so we want to thank, of course, TSE Buffalo, Total Sports Enterprises. Come on down. Today is their big public signing, but as always, 3170 Orchard Park Road. They've been a big sponsor of mine. Sal 60s, giveaways, everything they're doing. And every single month, if you subscribe to me on Twitter, I give a subscriber giveaway. I just gave a subscriber yesterday a brand new autographed mini helmet.
Yeah,
I have no idea who's in it. I don't know who's in it.
We don't know who's in it. It's a mystery.
That's a mystery. That's what we do here. All
Could
right.
be
So
Josh for all we know.
That's right. That's right.
Could be.
I mean, listen, it's $5 a month. You want to subscribe to me on Twitter. You're like, why would I do that? Look, you get exclusive content, extra videos from practice, different kind of thoughts from me, stuff like that. But you know what? It's also a Discord server. That's a community we built. And if it's not for you, that's totally okay. But check it out. Subscribe to me on Twitter at Sal Sports. Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. They've been with me for quite a while as well. In fact, the first sponsor I ever had here on Sal's House. I want to thank Mike Rizzo and the family down there. Check it out. Great spot to watch all the games, including tonight. Not only the Sabres, Game 7.
Last night, I was so enthralled at the end of that game. I mean, how could you have it playing out with any more drama? You've got the opportunity for the walk-off game-winning home run.
Yep.
And, they're replaying Joe Carter.
Oh, my God.
Just, think, could this actually, come back again for Toronto, the chance of the walk-off home run? And to have second and third with nobody out. Not only am I thinking there's a great opportunity for the Blue Jays to win here, but, I mean, to not them get any runs and for it to happen in just 3 pitches.
Yes.
For it to go from thinking they can win it here, they can walk this off and win the championship, to all of a sudden 3 pitches later and it's over and you're sitting here saying, oh my goodness. And George Springer is sitting there on deck and they never even got to him.
No.
I mean, the base running there.
Do you blame the base running?
Hmm?
I blame the base running. Would you blame the base running and say you cannot jump like that?
Yes.
I know if the ball gets down, he's trying to score. He's trying to tie the game.
Because there's no outs.
That's
I think you have to be a tad more on the conservative side of base running, of knowing who's on deck. You have your 9 batter up, but you have Springer coming up, who's been as clutch as any player in baseball over the last decade or so in terms of big time moments, Sal. So yes, I know you're the game tying run, but you also have to make sure you can't be out. You can't get doubled off there. And knowing that, hey, if there is a hit, there's still going to be nobody out at that point.
Right.
Worst case, you're thinking, okay, if there's a hit and I only advance to third, well, it's down to a 3-2 game then at that point, and you're at third with nobody out and one of your best hitters and one of the most clutch hitters of the last decade in the playoffs. You've got it all set up for you there. So, yeah, I mean, you can't make that basing here, running here.
I mean, do you think the way it ended favors either team tonight psychologically? Because you would think, conventional wisdom says Dodgers, right? Dodgers, the way they end that. But you are still at home if you're the Blue Jays and you think, look, we've beaten this team. We can play with this team. But, man, you got to be – if you're a Dodgers fan, if you're a Dodgers player, you got to be really feeling good about that.
I mean, think of what happened at the end of last night and the 18-inning game, how Toronto had so many opportunities. There's 2 moments now in this series where if Toronto does not get this done, where they're going to go back and just be really, really bothered with how this maybe got away from them if they had the opportunity to do so. the fact that you held the Dodgers with the best 1-2-3 punch in baseball when with Ohtani and Betts and Freeman, and the entire team had 4 hits, Sal. The Dodgers won a World Series game with 4 hits.
I mean, that's amazing.
I mean,
that's right.
You go into this game tonight and said the Dodgers are going to get 4 hits. You'd bet Toronto. I don't even think you could do it at 99 out of 100. You'd say 100 out of 100. They're going to get 4 hits. You're going to win the game.
No doubt. It's going to be fun tonight. That starts at 8 o'clock. 7 o'clock, Sabres game tonight. We already have a question coming in right here. Does Ovi get 900 tonight against the Sabres? How many has he got right now?
899.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So
Holy cow.
Yeah, so last night the Capitals played.
Great question. Thank you.
Yes, good question. Last night the Islanders and the Capitals played in Washington.
Okay.
And kind of a similar, I was watching I watched the first period before the World Series game last night, similar to what we saw the Sabres in Boston the other night. It was like 10-1, outshooting them 10-1. They're dominating. They're playing really well, but no goals to show for it. And the Caps at the end of the night only get 1 goal. So Logan Thompson played, so I doubt we'll see him tonight. Probably Charlie Lindgren for Washington. But Ovechkin's on 899, and there was a lot of Ovechkin watch. He'd be the first player ever to hit to 900. We know now, obviously, since he's past Gretzky. He'll be the first to hit every number he hits at this point going forward. But yeah, 900 would be a really, really cool moment. The other night, somebody asked me with Washington's schedule, do you think Ovechkin could stick around to get 1,000? That's probably 3 more seasons. For him to, if he's
was there not a report that this is last year or no?
Yes, I think it is going to be. Yeah. So I mean, his contract has the 1 year left. I think he wants to play it out. So I don't think 1,000. So I think this 900, like in terms of his last big benchmark moment, I think tonight could be the spot. He obviously had a very good history of scoring against the Sabres. So yeah, I mean, tonight you could see a cool moment for Ovechkin to hit 900 if he scores.
I'll be there as well. I'm glad that the World Series Game 7 starts an hour later so I can get home and watch the last several innings. We're going to get into it with Brian about how his night works out as well when he's the Sabres pre- and post-game host on WGR. But 716 Blizzard says, I met Brian. He's really cool. Great guy. I agree with you. He is a great guy. Okay. Want to thank Herbal IQ, a New York State licensed dispensary. All right. They're terrific. When you go to their showroom, you see exactly what I'm talking about. Whatever your needs are for your dispensary needs, make sure you head over to Herbal IQ. They're doing a great job as well over at 6300 Transit Road in Depew. Sometimes we bring Sal's house there. I want to show you guys what's happening right now, all right? This is at 3170 Orchard Park Road. Check this out. I'm going to bring it in the screen. We are starting to fill up, all right? People are here. We got Daryl Talley and Steve Tasker in the back signing right now. All you got to do is come down here. It's free. A free ticket to come in here. Just walk in the door. If you want something signed by Deion Dawkins, Jackson Hawes, Ray Davis, Daryl Talley, or Steve Tasker, they start at 1 o'clock, by the way. You got to go online and get a ticket, or come on in and get a ticket to buy it for them to sign your item. That's all you got to do. But you come down here, and it's free, and you can say hi to us, and you can win some items, and you might even be able to walk away with a dog. Because I did a couple weeks ago. Buddy's Second Chance Rescue.
I know. They're right outside here.
And Bernie is going to be here.
Feet away here.
Bernie is going to be here. I'm going to show you. I'll wheel it around here. Let me get the. Let me take this one out. Okay, let me reel it on the camera here so people can see. Hopefully, you can see outside. There's Buddy's Second
They're right there.
Right there. Outside. All right. We're going to bring Bernie down. My wife and son are coming down. They're bringing Bernie. And we
I'm excited to meet Bernie. I've seen some pictures. But yeah, you told me.
I can't believe we did that.
You did a show like this, and then you walked away with a dog.
We did. You never know what you're going to get. By the way, speaking of Buddy's Second Chance Rescue, come on down today. A $5 raffle ticket is what it costs, and each ticket gives you a chance to enter to win a whole bunch of prizes and items that will be given away. And a portion of the proceeds go to Buddy's Second Chance Rescue. So why not support the pups? Okay, Brian Koziol is here. Sabres tonight against the Capitals at 7. Tomorrow, Bills Chiefs, 4:25 p.m. What does your day look like? So you are here now. You're here with me, and I appreciate that, till 1 o'clock. When you have a 7 o'clock Sabres game, does it change on the weekends? Is it the weekdays? What does your day and your night look like? How does it operate? I think a lot of people like to get a peek behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously, I'm getting thoughts on what I'm going to say on pregame, kind of get organized. So if there's some sort of morning skate, Paul Hamilton is down there for us, as you know, for our station for WGR. Yep. And then he and I will talk about maybe some of his observations about what he saw, or maybe it's more so on a skate before a day or a game,
right?
The day of the game. It's more about lineup and goalie and injuries and that sort of thing than it is necessarily like practice strategies,
right?
Or game planning or things like that. So he and I, maybe who he's spoken to interview wise, and then that kind of gives us an idea of maybe what we're going to discuss on the pregame show. Like, what's our angle? What's our topic? We usually try to come in with some sort of different approach or different angle about maybe how this is going to look tonight. So I know Isaac Roseanne's been called up because Zach Benson went on injured reserve.
Okay, so now Thad Brown told me, as I said this, just so we all know, he said it's Roseanne.
Yes.
Is that
He's
right?
changed it like 3 times.
Okay, but he said, and he even said, it's the hardest name I've ever had in Rochester. Is it Isak or Isaac?
So we thought it was Isak.
Okay.
It was Isaac when he first was drafted. Then we thought it was Isak, and then each on the media site that the Sabres offer to the media, there's actually a button you can click on each guy's name, and they actually say it.
Okay.
So I think he actually now says it more like Isaac, but I know I've heard a lot of people say Isak. So anyway, Roseanne.
Yes. However you want. I'm not trying to correct you.
No.
Listen, I think it's important to get the guy's name right when we all talk about it, right?
We've been trying to figure it out for sure. He's going to be, he's called up because Benson's in. Now, Paul and I have been discussing this quite a bit. This guy has been putting up great numbers in the AHL.
Right.
He's tied for the Amerks league in points. And we saw him in the prospects tournament in September here. We were hoping to see maybe a more dominating performance from him against a lot of younger players, a lot of less maybe NHL professional players, or even just, the top of the line draft picks. When the Sabres played at Columbus the second day of that prospects tournament, they did not have a lot of like their first and second round, like their high value draft picks in there. They were 6th and 7th rounders, free agent signings, camp invitees, all this sort of stuff. And we thought, like, look, this is a night Roseanne's got to dominate.
Yeah.
And he didn't do as bad a good a performance in that prospects tournament as we thought. And we're like, well, maybe he's just meant to be a high-level AHL player. It doesn't mean, obviously, you're a bad hockey player. It just means maybe the NHL is just maybe not where ultimately he's going to get. So he's going to get another opportunity here. Curious to see, obviously, in terms of maybe how he fits into the lineup and how many minutes he plays, who he's with. He's a skilled player. He's got to play with skilled players. That's what's so hard sometimes about call-up, Sal, in general, is that you have this player that's been putting up great numbers down in the minor leagues. And, now all of a sudden you're going to bring them up and you're going to play them on the 4th line and they're going to get 7 minutes. And you're playing with players that maybe play a totally different role. Whereas this player might be, Roseanne, you think, oh, he's a skilled player. He plays the power play. Like, well, when he comes up, where does he fit in? Do you just throw him on the top line? Well, I mean, ultimately, they could do that because Benson was on the top line with Kulik and Thompson there. So, like, could you put him right there?
Is this right? Somebody just wrote in here, Happy Jordan Greenway has reached the top Sabres line day.
Yes,
right?
It could be a spot where he fits in too. I don't know. I mean, Greenway, we know, came back for the Boston game the other day. How much he brings offensively, that's a debate on that too. I think if you're going to bring a guy up that's a skilled player like Roseanne, and you want to see if he's ultimately going to be an NHLer, like throw him in with guys that can play with skill and see if he can help. If he can make a play or he can help somebody else make a play to score a goal. So I'm more apt to the point of if you bring up a guy that's a skilled player, let him play on one of the top 2 lines and throw him out there and see if he can handle it. Here's what's great about hockey. Like, you don't have to stick with it if it's not working.
Right.
If the first period, if he looks out of place or the line looks like it's a mess, and Lindy Ruff is the guy that changes lines as much as any coach in Sabres history, like, you can change it. It's not like you're locked into it, in terms of like, well, he's out there on the court now or he's out there on the ice now. Like, it's not like you do, but no, you can change that. So I would be, hopeful and optimistic that maybe he's going to get a chance to play with some, what I would consider more skillful players. Maybe it is just right where Benson was on that top line.
All right, real quick, RRG, you're right, and I will not shy away. Syracuse football stinks, Sal. Yeah, well, they lost their quarterback in week 4 against Clemson, and they have no other good quarterback on the roster. Ricky Collins stunk when he went in, the transfer from LSU, and then they started this kid for the first ever time last night. He went 1 for 11 in the first half. He was this lacrosse player.
I saw that story.
Fidaldi, whatever. You know what? But it just bothers me they lost to Bill Belichick. But, hey, I do like Fran Brown. He's got him on the right track. That's what happens when you lose your quarterback. I mean, they didn't have a good enough backup. So thank you very much. And you can comment by coming to Sal Sports YouTube page. I think you might be able to comment on Twitter, but if not, try the YouTube side because they're streaming there as well. I think it's got to be a YouTube comment if you want to do that. But yeah, RG was on X. Okay, you can comment that way. But either way, make sure you comment. Come on down. We appreciate it. We got people saying hi here. And Buddy Second Chance Rescues around. We're going to be giving away 2 tickets to the Chiefs-Bills game tomorrow. All right, so you told us about how you and Paul kind of work through some of these things. So what time do you get to the arena?
So usually probably, I would say 30 to 45 minutes before I'm ready to go on air.
Which is?
So tonight I'm on at 6, so I'll probably get down there early 5 o'clock.
Okay,
yeah.
5 o'clock. All right, and then you get settled in right away in your radio broadcast booth, right?
So we've got a booth. If for those of you that are at the at KeyBank Center, and the MSG flag hangs over where Dan Dunleavy sits, and then we're in the booth right to the next of him. Back in the day, I still love where we are because we have a great view. I used to have the visiting radio booth on the other side of me. I used to love listening to them because there's a partition, but if you lean forward a little bit like this, you can hear the other guys coming through on the other side. I used to love hearing the visiting radio booth just to get to hear a different perspective. How are they calling it? What are they saying about the Sabres? That sort of thing. They've since moved that. Now the Sabres assistant coaches, GM Kevin Adams, they have the booth actually next to us now.
Okay.
So sometimes you'll maybe hear a little bit more excitement or disappointment from them next door, but there is like a partition next to us. Anyway, so we're there, we're getting set up, and we do sound checks and obviously to make sure everything's set and ready to go. But then usually that's the time where I'm getting my notes set together here. How am I going to organize pregame? We've got interviews. We have Lindy Ruff. As you know, anybody that's listening to a radio broadcast, there's sponsored elements, things like that. We have to do preview the other teams, scoreboard, all that sort of stuff. So I'm really just kind of getting myself organized with those sort of things. I will definitely, last night I was able to watch the Capitals play the whole first period, and I was checking in on them during commercials while I was going back and forth with the World Series Game 6. But if I haven't gotten a chance to watch the previous game of the team, that'll usually be another time too where I'm maybe going through and searching articles or checking what is the beat writers saying from the other team about them and kind of, the buzz of the team from there. So I've got a little pulse on what I can say about tonight's opponent. Now, obviously, Washington, as I said, they played last night. They lost 3-1. Likely we're going to see Lindgren because Thompson played last night, and their storyline is Ovechkin's going for 900.
That's a heck of a storyline, but also these two teams are fighting right now for playoff position. If you look, there's no separation in the East right now, Brian. The East is really tough right now, and the Sabres really blew a chance to gain some ground by losing 3 overtime games in a row.
Yes. I'm very, very torn in terms of how I feel, and I've been saying this on post games of, okay, this team last year, and I was the first one to criticize them. They were never able to get tight games to overtime to get the point or the potential to get 2 points. They would always find a way in the third period to either lose a lead or to have a tie game, and it would go away. And, we're down that road here again now. 3 consecutive games where it's gone to overtime. Now, the positive is they are getting these points. So they're not burying themselves, but you're also not pushing yourself up either. Playing 500 hockey isn't necessarily going to get you a playoff spot because that would only get you up to 82. We know usually low to mid 90s is kind of the target of what you need for a wild card here. So 4-4-3, 11 points in 11 games. Again, you're only 1 point out of what would be a would-be playoff spot as of this moment, and you're still not that far from third place. You're only a win away from third place Ottawa. So they are, I call it treading water. You're there, you're moving, you're not sinking.
That's right.
But you're not also advancing really anymore. And here's the thing. In the Toronto game, you have a chance to sweep them. You're up 3-2 in the third, and you have a chance to give them no points. That's the big thing to me. You're playing these Eastern Conference games. You're playing Toronto, Columbus. Yes, you got a point, but by not figuring out a way to finish it in regulation, Sal, you have given Toronto 2. Whereas that could have been a weekend series sweep where you get 4 and Toronto gets 0.
Yeah.
So that was on the table. Instead, Toronto on the weekend got 2 and you got 3. And it almost like, in terms of the two teams, it almost like you sawed it off there. But in that game, you have maybe the best, 2 of the best guys in terms of shooting the puck on the team. I guess I'd argue the 2 best guys shooting the puck. You have Tage Thompson and you have Jack Quinn coming down on a 2-on-1. And they not really, it was a little clumsy. And then it drops back and Owen Powers got a chance. Yep. And then it goes off of his stick. And you're like, oh my God, 3 talented players, all with good shots. They can't finish. Down comes Tavares, their first chance, bang, into the net. I know a lot of fans were not happy with Luukkonen on that goal or even the third one that he let in regulation. I agree. I didn't like either of them either. But look, Toronto had that one chance. They bury it. Fast forward to the Columbus overtime game. Again, you have a lead in the third period. You can't keep it. Miles Wood, who's a Sabres killer, a former son of Randy Wood, of course, the former Sabre from the 90s. Remember that name? Randy Wood?
I do.
Yeah. He's going to the net. He scores, and then, of course, in overtime. But in that overtime, before Miles Wood scores, you have Yuri Kulik on a clean breakaway with a chance to win it in overtime, and they can't get it done. So to me, in those 2 games, you've got Thompson and Quinn and later Power on that sequence, and then you've got Kulik on a clean breakaway. Like, these are your money players in overtime with clean opportunities to win. Like, you have to take advantage of those because the other teams, when they come back down in the rushes, they're scoring. And, you could put some of that on Lucan, you could put some of that on Lyon, like you'd like them to make those saves in overtime for sure. But you're getting opportunities. Lindy Ruff, after almost every single game, you're saying, we're getting chances, we're getting opportunities. Like, okay, you've got to put the puck in the net at some point in these games. So I want to credit them. They're getting these points, they're getting it to overtime. But at the same time here, when you're playing these Eastern Conference opponents, Sal, like you've got to make sure you figure out a way at some point. You can't just keep giving them points. That's the piece I feel like that's a little annoying through this little stretch that they're in right now.
In 5 minutes from now at 12:30 p.m., we're going to give away something. All right, we're going to give away either an autographed mystery mini helmet or an autographed mystery football. I'm going to have a Bills trivia question in 5 minutes. The first person to answer it here at TSE Buffalo, 3170 Orchard Park Road, gets their choice of which one they want here. All right, Bills trivia coming up in 5 minutes. We're also going to announce who won the tickets to the Chiefs game tomorrow inside Highmark Stadium. Brian Koziol, Sal Capaccio, TSE Buffalo. Thanks a lot to Sports City Pizza Pub, Herbal IQ. Appreciate them. And of course, right down here, Total Sports Enterprises. We got Buddy's Second Chance Rescue here. We got signings all day. Daryl Talley and Steve Tasker in the back right now. They're warming up. They got a lot of items they're signing back there. It's crazy. I don't know if you went back there and saw that, but you got to check it out. And then when they come over here, you have a big line and you see it. Here we go, folks. Check it out. This is the line lined up. You can see people right now. They are getting ready for Daryl Talley, Steve Tasker. Later, Deion Dawkins, Jackson Hawes, and Ray Davis will be joining us. All right. And then what happens after the game? Whether they win or lose, how does your night work when you're the Sabres postgame host?
So before I answer your question, the best part of the job, and I think you would probably agree too when you go to cover Bills games, is that there is no script.
Right. Yes.
When you and
I always say I'm an unscripted guy. Right. I don't want to do scripted work.
When we do a talk show, we can plan for it. We can know what we want to talk about. We can know who our guests are. You kind of know what's going to happen. When you're covering a game and then you're either on the or during the game or post game, like you don't know what's coming. So I always love the fact that I'm like, look, when I'm going down there that night, I still have absolutely no idea maybe what I might be talking about on post game. You never know what's going to happen within the game.
Right.
So that part of it I always love, because part of the reason that I love sports is that it is unscripted. I know, yes, fans, I know you want to think that the Chiefs get all the calls and it is scripted. It's not. All right. I love that sports is not scripted and that you have who would have thought in any chance last night with how that Toronto game would have ended. You would not have guessed that, like that game last night. So I love that about sports. So for post game, as the game is playing out, I'm taking notes of things that maybe I want to bring up. But a lot of times it's almost till that end of the game when you start to kind of have to calm down. Okay, what are we going to talk about here? I kind of have what I would say is my monologue here, at the end of the post-game show, like, or at the beginning of the post-game, what am I going to talk about in terms of my big takeaways from this game, my opinions, what did I see, what do I think is important before we maybe get into the locker room session of that. And then, we do, for those of you that have listened to Sabres post-game, we do live locker room interviews, players, Lindy Ruff, and then a lot of times it might be something that either a player says or Lindy Ruff says. Lindy is a good interview.
Yes.
So there's a lot of times that sometimes he will say something that allows me then to have a nice conversation or topic going forward for the rest of the post-game show from there. So we're up in the press box. Paul Hamilton's down in the locker room. Pat Malacar's in the booth with me as well. So there's a lot of communication going on. Live locker room is fun. If you were able to actually see all the moving parts that are happening, and I saw, Sal, you doing live locker room interviews with the Bills before, but like, how is Paul communicating to the producer? How's the producer communicating to me? Like, because we can't all see each other.
Right. Yep,
so like
right.
How all that plays out logistically, I feel like, when I was first learning it was interesting, but ultimately, just to let you know how it happens is literally Paul is in the Sabres room. They've maybe made requests in terms of players that they'd like to speak with. Sometimes it might be randomly that a player might be in the room and they approach them and go up and talk to them. But Paul is literally in his microphone. He's not on the air, but he's what in radio terms we call in queue, so our producer can hear it. And he's telling them, okay, I'm going to have Rasmus Dahlin here in about 30 seconds. We're just waiting for him to take his skates off kind of thing. So the producer knows, okay, that. And then in my ear, stand by for Dahlin, stand by for Dahlin. And then I'm talking. And then literally as I'm talking, I have to talk, try to sound somewhat coherent and listen at the same time in my ear. So that's going on. Right. Yep. And then he literally, my producer in my ear, it's kind of our cue. TJ Luckman right now does a lot of the Mercedes games. He'll say, Dahlin, in my ear, loud enough so he knows that I can hear it. And then whatever I'm saying, literally within 3 seconds, I've got to try to wrap it up as smoothly as possible. Sometimes it's not. And then, hey, live down to the room, we go Paul Hamilton with Rasmus Dahlin. And then we go from there. And then that's usually kind of the middle portion of our post-game show. A little back and forth with that. 3 to 4 interviews, and then Lindy Ruff kind of plays out the same way.
What time do you get home after a normal 7 o'clock
We have a
game?
normal 7 o'clock game. Usually we're on the air somewhere between, so the game usually ends somewhere 9:30, 9:40, and then
Yep.
we're usually on the air for about an hour for post game. So usually a little bit after 11 is when I get home. So it's about a
You've been doing
25-minute
When
run.
was how long have you been doing this? The Sabres part
Yes,
of it.
the Sabres post game since the 07 season.
Wow.
So this is season
Wow.
19, I guess I'm starting here right now.
We got to get this guy to the playoffs again. We got to get this guy to the playoffs again for some posts. We talked about this when they had Eichel and Kane O'Reilly, and I'm like, Brian, it's finally it's happening again.
I know.
You're gonna have some exciting hockey because you're like, man, this is it's tough every night. You got to sift through all these losses, and then it didn't happen. Here we are again, almost 10 years later.
Yes, I would love to broadcast hockey games for sure. And, for fans to say, are we fans of the team? I want the Sabres to do well because when the Sabres do well, not only is it easier to talk about, but there's more fan interest in our broadcast. More people want to listen. More people want to take in games.
It's more exciting.
It's
in the
more
arena,
exciting for the city,
right?
for the community that I grew up here. I've lived here my whole life. Like, you want them to do well. At the same time, obviously, when I'm on the air talking about their team or the game, I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible in terms of saying what I think should be done or what shouldn't be done, vice versa, all that sort of stuff. But, we want them to do well because it creates interest in the team more so, just like it's exploded with the Bills, with them being so successful over the last, handful of years or so. Yes, the one complaint that I would have during this time here, yes, I've still been doing the same post games and I'm still on the air talking about these games, is that the discussion a lot of times after games with fans, Sal, unfortunately is actually not about the game. It's about the bigger picture items.
Yes.
Do we have the right GM? Do we need to change coaches? Do we need to trade so-and-so star highest paid player? That sort of thing.
Good point.
We had that discussion with Eichel for a long time.
We're kind of getting there. We're there a lot with the Bills now too.
Yeah.
My Monday reaction show a lot.
Right.
Right. Like people just want to talk about those kinds of things, not what happened on 3rd and 7 and why it went right or went wrong. It's,
right. And why
should they move on from the coach, or why are they not getting another wide receiver?
Correct. And that's what when it's good, we're talking about why did Lindy start Luukkonen instead of Lyon? Why did he not have this person on the power play or this person here? Or, man, I can't believe he's got this guy with this guy on the line. Or, man, strategically in the third period, you're talking about the game and all the fun things that go into watching a sporting event. It's not fun on post-game talk, taking phone calls about do we have to change the general manager, change the coach?
Right.
Do we have to trade Eichel, Reinhardt? Luke, it's going to be a little bit of Luke in there too, that sort of thing.
All right, listen, if you are here with an earshot of me, we're doing a quick trivia question, and it's your chance to win either a mini helmet or a mini football autographed. If you're inside the building right now, you have a chance to do this. I have a Bills trivia question. I'm giving Brian the answer, so the first person who shouts it,
okay,
you will know who that is, okay? The first person who answers this question is going to get one of these, okay? The question is, all right, here we go. You can check it out. Hey, chat box, you can answer all you want. They're not going to know out here.
That's right.
All right,
if
here
you
we
know
go.
it first in here.
That's
you
right.
Can yell.
Okay, last year, the Bills beat the Chiefs, obviously, in here at Highmark Stadium, right? The last time the Bills before last year, that the Bills beat the Chiefs inside Highmark Stadium, who was the leading rusher for the Bills that game? Who was the leading rusher for the Bills the last time before last year the Bills beat the Chiefs inside Highmark Stadium? First person who shouts it is going to get one of these. Come on. No. Come on. We had a couple answers. Who?
Oh.
Yes, CJ Spiller. You got it. Come on up here, buddy. You got it. CJ
Congrats.
Spiller. CJ Spiller. 2012 was the last. Come on up here, buddy. What's your name? Okay, I'm going to put you on a little bit of stage there. He's walking up. There you go. Thank you. Which one do you want? Want a mini helmet or a mini football? It's
Mystery
autographed.
ball.
Mystery ball.
Mystery helmet.
We don't know who signed either of them. You can choose it. You take the football. You got
There you
it.
go.
Thank you. Congratulations.
All right.
Hey, just look into that camera real quick. Right here. See the mic? There, say hi. Say hi to everybody. Hey, there's our winner. All right. Thank you very much. CJ Spiller is the answer to the question. Remember that game? 2012. I was just looking at it.
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes was not the quarterback then.
No, Ryan Fitzpatrick was for the Bills, though. Check this out. Here's the box score. You ready? Oh, here. I had it up here a second ago. There we go. So here's the box score for this game. Bills. Here we go. Matt Castle.
Matt Castle was the Chiefs quarterback.
Chiefs quarterback.
Right.
Fitz was the Bills quarterback. CJ Spiller, 15 carries, 123 and 2 tutties.
Wow.
Come on. Right?
There's some good names there.
Plus, he had 47 yards receiving.
Tashard Choice with 8 carries.
Yes.
Stevie Johnson, 5 catches. Scott Chandler, 5 catches. Those were the leading receivers in that game.
Oh, my goodness.
Brad Smith, there's a special teams name.
Yes, for sure.
He had a catch.
And you look back some of these games where these are just home games. Brian and I are looking on the screen right now. These are just home games. The Bills, been a while. They won in 2012 here in Buffalo, and then the time before that was 2005, 14-3. I don't even remember anything about that game. November 2005.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
A long time ago.
I know, right? Tomorrow, 4:25 p.m. In a little while, we're giving away 2 tickets for tomorrow's game. If you entered in the drawing, you could be the winner for the 2 tickets for tomorrow's game. If not, you're not going to be eligible because that was already something that happened, but we got a lot more stuff going on down here. Come on down, 3170 Orchard Park Road. $5 raffle tickets get you involved with all the different things going on today, and each ticket gives you a chance to enter, and a portion of the proceeds goes to Buddy's Second Chance Rescue.
Gotta be the most famous Chiefs-Bills game at Highmark Stadium was the AFC Championship, right? When Montana gets knocked out.
I think it has to be, but right. I mean, last year
was really good.
I mean, the playoff game a couple years ago.
That's right.
Was a big deal. I mean, that's Taylor Swift coming.
That's right.
Right.
That game was there for the Bills.
That's Travis and it's Jason Kelsey up in the booth, like a big deal.
Yep. He's
Stephon Diggs has it in his hands near the end.
That's right. The long pass, right?
The long pass.
Throws, that was right there in his hands.
Yeah.
That was an outstanding game. I mean, the Bills beating the Chiefs in a playoff game at Highmark Stadium, the impact that it would feel now, it would feel, I mean, I know then it was to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But there wasn't the hurdle that it feels like there is now with Kansas City.
Yes.
Beating the Chiefs in the playoffs now seems like such a huge hurdle for this franchise. It's like the hurdle, right?
Yes.
Everything that we talk about this year is.
I was asked on our Kansas City radio today, are the Chiefs the Bills' biggest rival now? I said, no, but they're the biggest barrier. They're the barrier. They're not the rival. They're the barrier. They're the boogeyman. Yes. They're the boogeyman that comes out and holds you back from going through the door.
Yeah, I agree. And which goes back to what you were saying before about the discussion of do you have the right coach? Do you have the right – look, we know that this team has the right quarterback. Every time we talk about Sean McDermott, to me, I'm very much one that says I think Sean McDermott's a very, very good coach. I think he's done an excellent job of stabilizing this franchise to be in a great spot. I think he's established a culture. I know you and I value that. I think that's something that really, really matters. He's gotten it to be a destination. I have a ton of great things to talk about with McDermott. When do fans seem to be most bothered by McDermott? When he faces Andy Reid. Yeah. That's the game that it feels like most fans want to draw the comparisons. Now, their backgrounds are different. One's defensive, one's offensive. So, I don't want to truly, just line them up and say it's an easy tale of the tape. They have coached in different spots. Reid has had different circumstances to start his career. So McDermott started with Buffalo as his first head coaching job. Yep. And Reid obviously had all that time in Philadelphia, where he spent a lot of his time trying to get over the barrier of getting to the Super Bowl and, ultimately had to win one elsewhere. So, to me, that is always, I don't know if it's a perfect comparison, too. And Reid has had, let's face it, he's had Mahomes play unbelievable during these games. And Reid is attached to Mahomes because he helps plays with them, too. So, that, and on the offensive side. So, Josh Allen, who's been unbelievable and maybe just as good, if not better than Mahomes in these playoff games. Why doesn't McDermott get attached to Allen for being good for that too? It seems like fans
because he made his bones on the defensive side.
Correct.
He's a defensive coach, and we all know that that's where the issue has been against Mahomes is the defensive side, and against Andy Reid, the Bills have scored offensively. You're right. He doesn't get credit because nobody thinks that he's really running the offense. He's more running the defense, right? Which, by the way, I do think it's super fascinating that it looks like he is actually running the defense now and calling the plays. Yeah. And I think that plays into maybe how things could play out tomorrow. I'm interested to see what Sean McDermott comes up with tomorrow, especially considering now that Michael Hoyt is a part of this team. And I love the way they used Hoyt last week. I mean, he was all over the place, Brian. I know Ed Oliver being out is a really, really big deal for the Bills. But, man, Michael Hoyt is a chess piece. And I'm really interested to see how Sean McDermott employs him.
McDermott, when he seems to call the defense, I almost feel like it's under these moments when they are so thin and so banged up, which I guess you could argue they're at another spot this case here with all these injuries. And I will always say that sometimes when you sit back and you look at the length of injuries on defense and who's ultimately out there, and this is not insulting any of the players, but it's in terms of maybe guys that they would have ahead of them on the depth chart that's not playing, I always feel like that they do a good job. It's going to still, again, always come down to when we have this Chiefs, Bills, playoff, Super Bowl, not getting their discussion, is will the defense seem to be able to step up when it comes to the playoff games itself. And I know this week I saw a stat of they're actually very good against We know the Chiefs in the regular season, in the Josh Allen era, they've won 4 of 5 of the regular season, and the defense itself has done a fairly good job containing a very good quarterback and a very good offense. When you get to the postseason, though, what is it? The points the Chiefs have scored is almost 10 more points per game or close to it, something like that. So that's the piece where I feel like it's still going to come down to that. In the playoffs, if you have to face Kansas City in the playoffs, will this defense step up? And McDermott's, he knows it. No matter how many injuries there are in D, no matter who ultimately is sending in this defensive play call, he's going to be attached to how the defense performs in the playoffs.
No doubt about it. Don't know why Sean said misleading question. I thought we explained it well, but we'll have another one coming up in a little while. Sean, sorry, I don't know what you mean by misleading question. We asked the question a little while ago. Last time the Bills beat the Chiefs in Highmark, other than last year, the previous time, who was the Bills' leading rusher in the game?
2 wins ago.
2 wins ago. Yeah. The answer was C.J. Spiller. We got a winner that we gave away. We're going to do another trivia question here coming up. All right. So
we got one.
All right, we got another one. And we got another one. And we got a mystery picture now they gave us. So we can do that too. All right. So now we had a couple things we give away. All right. Another trivia question. Here we go. You can't. Guy who just won can't win. Everybody else can win. All right. Okay. Let's look at. I'm going to show Brian the answer so he can. Here's the answer right here. Okay. See that? Okay.
Yep, got it.
Okay. Of the top five best seasons ever rushing in Buffalo Bills history, of the top 5 best seasons ever, you have O.J. Simpson with 3 of them, Thurman Thomas with 1. Who's the other? No. Good answer, though. No, good answer, though.
Good guess.
Come on. A good running back, but you'd think, wow, really? He was
not
top
Gilchrist,
5? He had a top 5 season. He had the 5th best season all time. O.J. had the top
not
3.
Greg Bell.
Thurman had number 4. Who had number 5? No, but I'll give you what? No, not LaShawn. No. I'll give you a hint. Early 2000s. Early 2000s. Yes, there you got it. Travis Henry. Guy with the Blue Jays cap. Oh, boy. He's going to come on up, and we're going to see. Okay, Travis Henry. Hold on. Look right into – here you go. Look right into that camera and say hi to everybody. There you go. Hey, there you go. What do you want? Do you want the mystery picture or the mini helmet?
Or the helmet. You want the helmet.
Helmet. All right.
Congrats.
What's your name? Roger. Thank you. Roger, like Rogers Center. I mean, they're going to – where the Blue Jays. What do you think about Game 7 tonight?
I think we got it. I didn't like the pitching last night.
He said, I think we got it. That's what he said. All right, thank you, Roger. Appreciate that.
Congrats.
Travis Henry, what a season he had, right?
The stretch of the Bills drafting running backs high through the drought era when they were all very good.
2002, he went for 1438.
And that was –
and right now, James Cook is like halfway there.
I know. So at halftime of the Panthers game, the math would have said he was on pace to break OJ's single game record. Remember Thanksgiving, 273 yards?
Yes.
Single game record that the Bills have. And I was like, if they really wanted to, with what the score being what it was, I think they could have broken that record. I think Cook was running all over them. Now, it doesn't make sense at that point. You're up, 40-9 or whatever it was for a long portion of that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So you don't want to – you want James Cook to be healthy and not take extra hits. So totally understandable. But I thought if the goal was like, we're going to get Cook this record today, I thought it was obtainable.
They could have done it.
He was
Deion Dawkins said in the locker room they were aware of it. And they thought that they could get him there, but they knew that.
And you probably need one more
at some point you're like,
one more
take him
big
out.
chunk. If it pushed him, if he had another 50, 60-yard run and now he's at 230, 240, then maybe somebody gets in McDermott's ear or, Joe Brady's ear and said, look, he's only 35 yards away from breaking OJ's record here. Like, should we do this kind of thing? And then they can at least maybe have had that discussion.
Brian Koziol, he's here. He's going to be on the Sabres broadcast tonight, 7 p.m., and that's going to be against Ovechkin in the Capitals. Ovechkin go for 900 tonight here in Buffalo. We'll see if that happens. Then tomorrow, it's Bills Chiefs. Want to thank Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. Great place to watch all the games, get the food, the wings, the pizza. They have a patio, pups on the patio. It's a fantastic spot. Best spot, I think, in Western New York to watch all the games in a circumference view all around you. Herbal IQ, 6300 Transit Road in Depew, a New York State licensed dispensary. And of course, we are here right now, live at TSE Buffalo, 3107 Orchard Park, 3170, Orchard Park Road. Come on down. In 15 minutes from now, Daryl Talley, Spider-Man, and Steve Tasker are going to be signing out here for these fans. Check it out. We got a lot of people already coming in, and you see the line already setting up for that right now. It's going to be awesome.
Two guys that couldn't be more popular from those 90s teams.
Oh, my gosh.
And, super likable, still staying connected so much in the community. Obviously, you hear Tasker on our airwaves every more and more credit, deservedly so, for going to the 4 in a row. Locally, how so many of them have just stayed connected with the Western community, how they're just as big of cheerleaders as anybody is now for the current Bills. I love that, how they couldn't be, rooting any harder as any other fan is for this current group to try to go ahead and get this team and this franchise a Super Bowl victory. I love that about them.
All right, so we got AC Man who came in. AC is a big part of the bullpen, by the way. In the WGR video portion, he's a big part of the bullpen. And he says, I saw reports of Bean having inquired about Olave. I saw this. And Myers, this is Diana Rossini, I think, who reported this. Would much prefer Shaheed over either of the two. Okay, here's where I lean. I have said Shaheed is my number one target because I don't think Olave is obtainable. I think Olave is a better receiver. You give me Olave, let's go, baby. Like that guy, you have your number one receiver. Now, the question with Olave is concussions. He's had some. I just think the compensation, what you're going to do, you got a contract there. I just felt that that's always been a little tough. However, to AC Man's point, the reason why I've said Shaheed is the number one target for me, that guy I think is more obtainable. And Brian, he can return punts and kicks. And right now, they need a guy who do that because Codrington is not having an effective year. He's even inactive, and they can use one roster spot for the two. I would prefer either of them right now over Myers, but I like Myers. The problem I have with Myers, he's more of a big slot at this point of his career.
Yes.
He plays outside, but I don't know. They have more guys like that.
The downfield threat that a lot of fans are hoping for, maybe you don't get that as Myers. Now, Myers has been dealing with injuries. He's been in and out of the lineup for the Raiders this year. I know statistically he's not putting up the numbers that maybe he regularly does. I thought with Geno Smith, I thought he would have a statistically a great year, but he's been in and out, so maybe not fair to judge totally. Even before the season started, there was a report that Myers maybe wanted to be moved and be traded. So I'm sure he would be on board with getting a chance to go play with Josh Allen. Olave, to me, I agree. Of those three, I think he's the best, most complete receiver. Shaheed, though, if you're looking for speed and big playmaking ability, like he could do that for you. I think any addition to me is a welcome one. You are in this window right now where, to me, the all-in mentality has to be there each and every year. So if Brandon Beane feels like he can make any of these moves happen, I mean, the move for Cooper last year, you're not really giving up a lot to do that. I think for a team that doesn't necessarily have to count on, we have to have that third rounder next year. We have to have that fourth rounder next year. I would assume the bigger hurdle in any of these is the salary cap, right? And the Bills have so little space.
Bills have about $2 million.
You have to make that work before you even can start to think about, well, what sort of draft pick is it going to take to get this guy? I think ultimately the Bills have that ability to do that portion. It's the cap piece.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you would have, it's not like NHL. In the NHL, they say we retained some of the salary.
Right.
In the NFL, you literally have to redo the contract by the existing team so you can trade the contract to the new team. Now, you can do that if you're the existing team. Sometimes base salaries are easy to trade anyway because most of the money's been paid up front. I respect this comment. I don't know if I agree, though, from AC, who said Shaheed is leagues better than both Olave and Myers in terms of separation versus man coverage. I think because of the speed, you could say that. But to me, Olave is a more complete receiver. And I think that's what you need. Now, I get it, though. Hey, AC, man, you get Shaheed, I am ready to rock and roll. Let's go. I'll take Rashid Shaheed. Do you think the Bills actually do something before the deadline? Tuesday at 4 p.m., by the way. Voting day and trade deadline, same day.
I think they will. I think Brandon Beane knows that he wants to feel like, hey, I did everything I possibly could to give what he thinks is the best quarterback in the NFL every possible ability to be successful. And I'll say, here's why I think so more so than others. Last year at this moment, other years at this moment, when there was a move made, I don't think the passing game has been as much question as it is this year. To me, it looks as out of rhythm. I don't want to, it's still good, but it looks a little less fluent, a little more out of rhythm than maybe it has been. To me, a lot of the successful passing plays come from Josh creating something and then the receiver maybe breaking off a route or coming back or then turning it up, something along those lines that maybe it wasn't in necessarily the initial play design. I feel like that's the one thing, Sal, and I'd love your thoughts on this, is how often do we see Allen in rhythm drop back, make the throw to maybe his first read right away where it looks like, yes, that was the hot read, that was the initial play call, it's in rhythm, he's not flushed, he's not creating, he's not buying time. It seems as though that seems to be more of what the big pass plays are right now from this team.
Yeah, I like Shaheed a lot, believe me, and I think that they need that speed. But, man, if you can get a guy that's just an all-around complete receiver who can beat win on the outside, win from the slot. There's different things, route running. All of that matters to me. Bobby, we love Bobby Blazer. Bobby Blazer, by the way, big supporter of the show. Bobby said, had to wrap up a job. He would have been here sooner. Thank you very much. Isn't Shaheed very similar? What do we got here? To what they had with Samuel and Moore. I think he's different because he's kind of more of a straight line fast guy, but the difference is he's an elite returner. He can be an elite returner. Look at some of the numbers he's put up. I just think that's what you can do with him. But yeah, sure. I mean, maybe a little bit in that regard. That's why it's a little bit tough. Here's one for you. Do you think the Sabres should trade UPL? I don't know if they could trade him. I think you'd have to waive him before you can trade. Who's taking that contract?
He's making almost $5 million per season
Especially
now.
with his injury concerns.
Yes, injury concerns, salary concerns. There could be a couple of teams. I mean, San Jose could use a goalie. Maybe Columbus could use a goalie but I think you'd have to throw in a piece too because you're taking on that contract. Ultimately, and you need Luukkonen to play better. What has he done? He had a poor finish to last season, then injuries, and now, the one game he played this year so far, mediocre, great at best. So, yes, I would love if GM Kevin Adams could take advantage of the situation, and maybe now they feel like they have 3 NHL goalies, and they obviously hope a 4th with Devin Levi, who's off to a great start, by the way, in Rochester.
Yes,
undefeated.
He is.
His numbers.
I'm still a
incredible.
Devin Levi truther. I think Devin Levi is still the future of this organization in goal. That's what I believe.
I have to believe. I mean, Devin Levi's got to be thinking, okay, last year I put up Ryan Miller-like numbers in the AHL. I did fairly well throughout the season, performed well early playoffs. I know the final series against Laval, he did not perform well, which a lot of people say, well, maybe he's not ready for the pressure moment at that point. You gave up Sam Reinhart to get Devin Levi. I know a couple other pieces as well, but he was a big piece of what you gave up, a guy that could score 50 goals in the season. Yep. At some point, you got to feel like, hey, we've got to give this guy an opportunity. But the Ellis signing to me is interesting. Ellis is maybe a couple of years ahead of Levi in terms of, well, he's already gone through the full minor league development piece. He's a couple of years older, and they like him. Well, you're not going to necessarily waive him. Otherwise, somebody's going to pick him up. Maybe the Blues might get him right back. Ideally, if you could trade Luukkonen, if you have enough faith in Lions, some fans already say, hey, 7-8 games in, I've seen enough. I like Lions better than Luukkonen. I think at the moment, it's Lions net to lose. I just don't know if Adams can be able to pull off a trade where it's not going to be necessarily what's turned to be just a salary dump at this point. You want to be able to get something of value for a guy that you gave a 5-year deal to.
And I appreciate Lindy's honesty when he was asked about carrying 3 goalies. And look, like, we can't necessarily rely on UPL to stay healthy right now. Like, we know he's got an injury situation, so you have to carry. If you get rid of one of the other 2 and he gets hurt, where are you then?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you have to keep 3 as insurance, but at the same time, keeping 3 is hurting your roster a little bit. Whose net is it? And if you do want to move on from UPL, I think you have to waive him. I think you could clear waivers, though. Somebody's would have to take the contract.
And here's the thing. If Lyon is playing at the level that he started with, then you want him to play 2 out of every 3 or probably 3 out of every 4. The discussion I had the other night on postgame, the next non-Alex Lyon game, is that Ellis's game or is that Luukkonen's game? Like, who's next in Lindy's mind in the pecking order? Now, the Toronto Saturday game last week when they went back-to-back, it was supposed to be Ellis. He woke up that morning, had some discomfort, so that's why they ended up going with Luukkonen. Neither has played since. It's been Lyon in both games. So if it's Lyon tonight, we'll see. But the next non-Alex Lyon game, like, that might tell us a lot about what Lindy Ruff thinks about the pecking order of who's next in line here. Like, does Ellis deserve another start? I think he does because of how good he did on his opening game. Does he go back to Luukkonen? If he goes to Ellis again here, is he saying that, hey, Luukkonen right now gives us the 3rd best chance to win? That might be the message he might be saying.
Max, you're on camera. Say hi to everybody right there. Where's Bernie? Is he outside? He's right there. Do we have Bernie out there? I can't see. You got to bring him by the window a little more. Or bring him inside for a second. We got our dog, Bernie, is here today from Buddy's Second Chance. Hold on. Let me put this back out. So we can see Bernie out there. My wife's out there with Bernie. I don't know if we can see Bernie. Bernie's out there. Maybe we can bring him in. Mac's going to bring him over to the door. Oh, folks, we got this dog. Here we go. He's coming in. This is Bernie. We're going to put him on camera. Okay?
As you improve your guests.
Yes. We actually brought Bernie home. Stand right there at the lip. There he is. That's from Buddy's Second Chance. Hey, Bernie! There's our dog, Bernie. All right. Move him over that way, a little more, Max, towards that way, towards the lip over there. There you go. So everybody can see him. There you go. There's Bernie.
I don't.
You ever have a dog?
My wife has 2 cats, so that takes up our household.
Oh, really?
space.
There he is. There's Bernie.
That is
And
cool.
shout out to Western New York Heroes. I do a lot of stuff with Western New York Heroes, Chris and Lynn.
Yeah.
We're actually taking Bernie some obedience classes with them. They do an amazing job with all the veterans and hooking veterans up with dogs. They're great for them. But they also take part in people that want to have their dogs go through the obedience training. And we've done that with Bernie, and he's great. And he's really taken to it right now. So Bernie, by the way, as you can see, he's pretty big. He's going to be about 110 pounds, we're told. He's about 55 right now, and he's 6 months old.
Oh, so double.
Right? He's on camera right now, this camera. So there you go, Bernie. Say hi. Yeah, he's about double the size weight-wise what he is right now.
How old is he?
He's about 6 months. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So there's Bernie. Yes, thank you, Bobby, giving a shout-out to Bernie right there. Right before Daryl Talley starts signing here, we're going to do one more trivia question. We're going to give away a mystery photo. I got a good trivia question for you. We're going to do that here in a little while. Brian Koziol join me here. Hope you guys are having a good time today. We are down here at TSE Buffalo. What a beautiful, beautiful day outside and beautiful day for Buffalo sports. We got the Sabres taking on the Washington Capitals tonight. My guy Brian Koziol right here is going to be on the call, pregame, postgame, intermissions on the Buffalo Sabres radio network. We're going to be there. We're not bringing Bernie to that game, but Yana, Max, and I are going down to the game, so maybe I'll see you up in the press box a little bit. Head on up there. And then, of course, tomorrow it all gets going with the Bills and Chiefs at 4:25. What do you prefer for game times for your Bills games? When you're going or when you're working, either way. If you're working a game, if you're going to the game as a fan, now we've experienced Monday nights and Thursday nights and Saturday nights and Sunday afternoons and Sunday nights and 1 and 4:25. What do you like?
That's a good question. I enjoy going when it's Sunday at 1. I feel like you wake up, you're in mode to go, and then tailgating and family and friends and going and hanging out at the stadium. However, as fantasy football and the attraction of watching other NFL games has definitely gotten heavily a part of my life. My son being in fantasy football now, he wants to watch Red Zone.
Yes,
he is upset. My son is just a little older than Max here. He just turned 16. By the way, he just took his permit test.
Amazing. Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were driving in the parking lot. That was funny. I can tell you about that later. He's obsessed with Red Zone because he's got his fantasy team.
Yes,
and I'm like, we're not watching Red Zone during the Bills game if it's a road game. We're watching the Bills game. If you halftime, you can flip over. 4:00 game, you can flip over. But he wants, even during the Bills game, he's obsessed with Red Zone because I get it. The attention span now, there's no commercials, and it's good play to good play to good play. I get it. Red Zone's amazing. I love it, by the way. So I think attending it's still one. However, when they play a Thursday night or a Monday night, I'm not missing any other NFL action. So I feel like I'm even more invested in paying attention to everything that goes into being out at the stadium. So that part of it I like because I love the NFL. I do love the Bills, but I do love the NFL. I love watching some of these games. So there's some times where if they're playing, I would say 4:25 is my least favorite.
Oh,
because
for home or away?
For home.
Okay.
Because the 1:00 games, you can't
watch them.
You can't watch them.
I know.
So,
I feel the same way sometimes.
By the time you get home, by the time you get home, you're at best catching the second half of the Sunday game. So I think if I was going to eliminate home games of a time, it would be 4:25. Give me one, or even give me the night, because then I got my whole day. I can do some other things possibly, or if you're a big time tailgater, you can have it all day. But the 4:25 at home to me is the worst spot because I don't get to enjoy any NFL outside of that at all.
What about away?
Then that
teams on the road. What do you like? Do you like to settle in at 1:00 right away?
So
or you kind of let the day
go
go by a
little
little
bit.
bit.
In me on Sundays still loves to play on Sundays.
That's all about golf. That's
so
right, I forgot.
Them playing on the road at 4:25 or 8:30 or 8:15, totally fine with that.
Okay,
push that back.
All right. So as a
then I can play in the morning and I can watch NFL the rest of the day.
As a professional at the game, working and doing the broadcast, I will tell you. I like 1:00 road games. I like getting up in the morning and I get ready and I get on a team bus. There's 6 buses that go to the stadium different times. My bus leaves at 8:30, 8:45 to go to the stadium, and I'm ready to rock and roll. I get there, we get in, let's go. I mean, the day is setting up. No, the day is setting up to the NFL. We're part of it, right? That's the cool part. The entire day is setting up. When it's a 4-something game, it's again, I'm on a bus maybe when games are starting. Yeah. I get there, I'm trying to watch those games, see what's going on, prepare for the broadcast, do the roundtable during the last hour or the third quarter of the games going on. Night games, the waiting all day, whether it's home or away. It's just the waiting all day that gets you. You know what I mean? And they say waiting all day for Sunday night.
That's right.
It's totally
It's in
true.
the song.
That's right. We're going to have Daryl Talley signing here in a minute. I got a trivia question. We're going to give away a mystery photo in a moment. Brian is also, of course, the host of Tee to Green on WGR Sports Radio 550. Really excellent golfer. Who was the golf story this year? What golfer was the golf story this year on the PGA Tour?
Even though I wouldn't say he was the player of the year, I think Scotty Scheffler will win
Okay.
that award because he ended up having an incredible year.
Let me guess.
The story is,
Swan.
ooh, I think that's the feel-good story. I think the story is Rory
Okay.
because he
Why?
wins the Masters. He completes the career Grand Slam. So few players have done that. That scene at Augusta where he has the lead, blows the lead, comes back, ends up winning it. He's in tears. You know, I think the career Grand Slam for him, that's been hanging over him forever. I think that's the story. Bookend it with, he's a huge piece of why Europe wins the Ryder Cup at Bethpage. He played so well in that event, despite the fact that the crowd was all over him during those days. That was a cool experience, being there. And I was following McIlroy, and he was with Lowry during the afternoon match. Man, Sal, the crowd, you think going to NFL games, you hear things, the crowd, some of the things that they were yelling at McIlroy, like,
really,
like out of line. But anyway, nevertheless, like it was rough. But
that's terrible.
and on a golf course, you're hearing it.
Yeah.
Because they're 15 yards from the crowd.
Yes.
There.
Yes.
So like it was rough at times. It was rowdy. I'd never been to a Ryder Cup before. It was a really, really bucket list experience for me. Being on the first tee on Friday afternoon, I said, I want to be on the first tee at least for one of the days where they do the introduction.
Yeah.
So the Friday afternoon session, we were there, and, they're introducing it. Phenomenal. They introduce the American players, the crowd goes nuts. They introduce the European players, they boo. I think what's cool about the Ryder Cup, when Rory gets introduced, boo like crazy. When Rory misses a putt and the U.S. gets to win the hole because of it, cheer like crazy. I think that's awesome. There was, I thought, some times where the crowd was too much. The personal attacks, yelling things about their family, when their family's walking right inside the ropes there, that to me is too much. I know people are probably going to say, oh, you're old golf stodgy guy. No, I think at the Ryder Cup, boo Rory as loud as you possibly can and let all 20,000 people that are on the hole boo him. And when he misses a putt, go ahead and go nuts. But the personal yelling things about the wives and the kids, like to me, that's too far. I don't think that has a line in any sport.
I agree with you.
And I know in golf, they're very accessible. They're right there. Like you're on the course. You don't get to be on the field or on the ice or on the court at other sports. In golf, you are on the playing surface. So the access to be able to yell something like that's pretty easy. Anyway, to answer your question here, I know I went off a little tangent.
All right.
I think Rory still is the player of the year. Rory's still the story of the year. Him winning the Masters. He wins the Players' Championship too. That's kind of considered the fifth major. He won at Pebble Beach. And then he finishes off with the Ryder Cup. I know statistically, Scheffler still had the better year. He'll win PGA Tour Player of the Year. And I think I would vote for Scheffler for that. But to me, when I think of this year, I'll think about Rory first at the Masters.
We are going to give away something here when Daryl Talley starts signing. We're going to welcome him in, and then we're going to end this Sal's House. And I appreciate Brian Koziol. We're still going to announce the winner here in just a moment of the two Bills-Chiefs tickets tomorrow. Can you name where all the majors are next year? Little test for Brian.
Oof. Okay, obviously the Masters are at Augusta.
Yeah.
The U.S. Open is at Shinnecock Hills on
okay.
Long Island next year, out in Southampton.
Should we look it up to make sure here where everything else is?
That one I'm sure of. The PGA Championship.
Where is it? 2026.
2026. Hold on, I want to look. Oh man, it was Oak Hill, then Valhalla, and then I'll guess. I would just be guessing here. I'll just throw out Olympic Club in San Francisco.
It is in Pennsylvania at
Aronimink. Yes, so
I'm not familiar with this.
Near Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yes, and the Open. I don't think this is a St. Andrews year.
Open Championship.
Is it? No, it's not. It was just at Royal Portrush last year in Ireland.
Open. Let me just figure it out here. Let me just. I keep typing it wrong. I'm sorry. Here we go. Open Championship.
Royal Birkdale.
Royal Birkdale.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in England. Yeah.
All right.
So those will be the four next year.
All right.
But Shinnecock Hills, if you're going to go to that, I know maybe some Western New Yorkers or those that follow you went to the Ryder Cup. It's another hour out on the island. Traffic is terrible, but it's a better spectating venue because it's so far out. The crowds are a little smaller there. I was actually there in 04 U.S. Open. Retief Goosen was the champion. He beat Nicholson. Yeah, I went there.
Is that your first ever? What's your first major you ever attended?
The 02 U.S. Open at Bethpage Black.
Oh,
yes. At the time, 02, I just started at the radio station, and I asked. At the time, our sports director, Bob Gaughan, was like, Bob, I said, would you be okay signing off on a credential? I was probably 22 or 23.
Right.
Because back then, there was no internet. It wasn't an internet application.
No, that's right.
You had to fill it out and then mail it. I said, would you be okay as the sports director signing off? And he's like, yeah, go. That would be amazing. So we got approved, went to the 02 Open. Tiger won. He beat Sergio. And I think I've covered about maybe another 15 majors or so since going U.S. Opens and PGAs and one Masters. I haven't gotten to an Open championship yet. And now I've gotten to a Ryder Cup this year. So my next golf bucket list is the Open. To go to somewhere like St. Andrews or somewhere like that. That would be cool.
Hey, I'd be remiss to not remind everybody while I'm doing this today, we still have spots and they're going fast. You need to sign up for the Buffalo Football Legends Cruise going down to the Caribbean and the British Virgin Islands with Thurman Thomas, Steve Tasker, Butch Roll, Don Beebe, Scott Norwood, Del Rita 26 shirts, Pinto Ron. Brian, come on, look into it. Bring the fam down. We're going to have a great time. We're going to celebrate Thurman's 60th birthday on the ship. You got to go to BuffaloFootballLegends.com, all right? There are still spots. You can have payment plans, but folks, we got to get everything settled. We got to get everything done by the end of this month at the latest, so you need to get in now because spots are filling up fast. Buffalo Football Legends Cruise. I'm going to be like the cruise director for all the Bills stuff going on. Meet and greet nights, private dinner nights going to be
Hopefully
awesome.
You're not driving the ship, though.
I'm not actually driving the ship. No, that wouldn't be good. It's going to be an amazing. It's going to be an amazing week. We're going to be out at sea starting May 10th, Mother's Day. Yes, we're leaving Mother's Day from Miami and having a Mother's Day sail off and send off. My mom's coming. My mom's 75, and she's coming on the boat, on the ship.
You do a lot of things really well. I think post-broadcasting career for you, I could definitely see you as a cruise director.
Yes.
Like I've been on many cruises. I know
Nicole agrees, right?
You and your wife and Max have been on cruises too.
Yes.
Because your spunk and your energy to make whatever the event is, even if it's a cruise bingo or what trivia or whatever, I feel like the person that gets up on stage on the cruises that I've been on, I'm like, you know what? Sal could do that. I can see you doing that as your
last cruise we went on,
career.
my wife said, that's your job. Nicole, we're just waiting for Daryl to come so I can ask a trivia question while he's walking. Is that okay? I don't know if he's coming up soon. We're going to do this right now. Brian's going to announce the winner of the two. How did they enter in this? How was this? It was an Instagram giveaway. Brian is going to put on the screen and announce the winner of the 2 tickets to tomorrow's game, Bills at Chiefs. He's going to show it right in the camera here. What's the name, Brian?
All right. It is Brittany Lee Juski.
There you go.
Brittany,
look it up. There's the camera right there. There we go. There you go. Brittany
Brittany
Lejiski. There you go. Brittany Lejiski, you are going to Bills Chiefs tomorrow. Congratulations.
There you go, Brittany. Congrats.
All right, Brittany, congratulations. All right. You're going to Bills Chiefs. And that was through an Instagram giveaway, an Instagram contest that TSE was holding. All right. So that's how she did that. You know how you do that, folks? You go to TSE Buffalo on Instagram, TSE Buffalo. You go to TSE Buffalo on Twitter, X. All right. Make sure you do that. And of course, they're doing a lot of great things here. Look at this crowd we have here getting ready for DT. Spider-Man.
Huge.
Right? I got
Tasker's coming out too, right?
And he's coming out too. Daryl Talley and Steve Tasker. I got a trivia question I want to ask. All right, we'll do this now. And I wanted Daryl out here because I want to ask him, is he coming out soon? Are they coming out soon here? Nicole, all right, we'll keep it out here just for a minute. All right, so tomorrow, Bills, Chiefs, and then we got some other NFL games going on tomorrow. And I'm interested in your thoughts. Who should Bills fans be rooting for in the Broncos-Texans game? That's a tough one. Would you want the Broncos to win to hold the
AFC West?
Hold the AFC West?
Yeah.
Or because the Bills are behind the Broncos, do you want them to fall back a little bit? Ooh, tough one, right?
Ooh, that is a tough one. I think ultimately I'm still rooting for Denver.
Okay.
Because our conversation earlier about the path of the Chiefs and them getting there, there is definitely a piece of me, and I'd love to ask Daryl and Steve this. I'm sure well, never mind. I know what their answer is. What is still very special about the Bills' 90s teams? They went to 4 in a row.
Yes.
The Chiefs can go to 4 in a row this year. Right? Because they've won 1, 2, lost 1. That's their last 3.
They're attempting 4 in a row this year.
So if they go for 4 in a row, the specialness of that 90s 4 in a row, like to me, like I don't want anything to diminish that. So I need the Chiefs out this year. Even if the Bills don't make it, I need the Chiefs not to make it. So if them not winning the AFC West helps in that cause, it also keeps KC on the road for the whole playoffs too. And let's face it, they're lethal at Arrowhead in the playoffs. So yes, even though it could come at the Bills' expense of maybe being the 1 seed, if Denver continues to play well, I would think if I'm the Bills, would you sign up of, hey, we got to go win in Denver to go to the Super Bowl? I'd still sign up for that versus having to give Kansas City an easier path being at home.
And then another game that I want to ask you about here, we know Colts at Steelers. I think you have to root for the Steelers here, right? You want them to hold the Ravens down, and you want to make sure that the Colts don't gain any more separation in the AFC.
Same argument. Yes, I think the Ravens are the most dangerous team in that division, in my eyes, especially with how Lamar is back now and played so well Thursday night against Miami. So you'd like the Steelers to win that division. Same argument. Make Baltimore's path getting maybe to you as the Bills as a home divisional winner tougher. At the very least, if you end up having to play them, you at least get them in your stadium.
Yep.
So, yeah, same argument there. You'd want the Steelers to win that division. The Colts, to me, again, I think they're really, really impressive. If I'm forecasting to the playoff matches right now, again, I take my chances with Josh Allen and the Bills on the road in Denver, on the road in Indy versus even hosting Baltimore or Kansas City.
Okay.
I would rather have those games. I'd rather go to Denver and go to Indy than say you got to face Baltimore at home or Kansas City at home. I just feel like there's too many things. When you're facing the caliber of Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes, or Andy
anything
Reid,
can happen.
Give me the unproven Colts and Daniel Jones in the dome. Fine. I'd rather have that opportunity.
That was actually funny on the radio show. The Bulldog asked this question to each other, and I could not believe Bulldog said no. Mike asked him, "Would you take it right now? No questions asked. Bills at Colts AFC Championship." Absolutely,
100%.
Why would you not take that?
100%.
And Bulldog said, "Well, because he's thinking that means they're not the 1 seed, and you want the 1 seed." I'm like, it doesn't matter if I'm the 1 seed. If I'm at the Colts in the AFC Championship in a controlled environment, I know they have Jonathan Taylor. I'm going against Daniel Jones. You got to win that game.
Yes.
You got to win that game.
And that means you've already won your 2 playoff games.
It doesn't matter.
However you had to do it, and that means Mahomes is eliminated and Lamar Jackson's eliminated.
Yes.
I 100% right now would sign up for Bills at Colts in the AFC Championship.
Chargers at Titans, Saints at Rams, going through the schedule tomorrow that we'll be watching. Bears at Bengals. I don't know. I kind of don't need the Bengals to keep winning here because by the time they play the Bills, you don't want them to be feeling good about themselves and still kind of playing for something.
The Jets helped out last week there for sure.
Yes.
Flacco has made that offense almost, not to say it's at full capacity, but almost at full capacity. For all of you that have fantasy players on the Bengals, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Flacco's made them all relevant again. That offense is still very good. That defense is still really bad. And the Bears, I think the Bears are really bad. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah.
I don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be good. He makes super athletic plays, but just making normal throws sometimes, he's so inaccurate with it. He's very inconsistent. I'm back and forth on if Caleb Williams will ultimately be a long-term successful QB. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't seen enough consistency out of him yet.
And then we will know before the Bills kick off tomorrow if the Patriots go to 7-2 or if the Falcons upset them. And it is huge. If the Falcons are able to win, you're like, oh my God, you could retake this division right now. If the Patriots win, you're like, well, you lose this game, you're 2 games back and lost head to head.
I keep looking at New England's schedule.
Yes, I know.
And I'm just piling up wins. I mean, okay, they're home for Atlanta. The Bills lost against the Falcons. Unfortunately, we saw Miami did do what we saw Carolina did. It makes you feel a little bit worse about it. I know maybe some different circumstances, but last week Miami went on 3 drives of 80-plus yards against the Falcons D, and I was like, oh, the Bills only got 14 points against them. At Tampa, obviously, is a spot that you're hoping that New England ends up losing. But then they've got the Jets and the Bengals and the Giants all before they face the Bills again. It's very realistically, if you give them a loss at Tampa, that they could win those other 4. So what? Add 4-1 onto their current 6-2 record. So that puts them at 10-3, Sal, maybe heading into that Bills game.
All right. So we got Daryl Talley and Steve Tasker lining up to get some autographs. Check this out, folks. This is Richard Todd actually was the guy. Come on up, get your mystery
Number 14
photo.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
There you go.
buddy.
What's your
There
name,
buddy?
Jackson.
Jackson. Oh,
Congrats,
look
Jackson.
at you're here for Jackson Hawes today, aren't you? Oh, I love that. Thank you very much. Jackson, just take a look into this camera and say hi to everybody, all right? There you go,
There he
Jackson.
is.
All right, there you go, buddy. Thank you very much. This is pretty cool, Brian. Thank you for coming out today, man.
For sure, Sal.
Thank
That's
you for
fun.
I appreciate it. Yeah, listen, we are down here today all day at TSE Buffalo. They are 3170 Orchard Park Road. Jackson Hawes, Deion Dawkins, Ray Davis. Right now, you got Daryl Talley and Steve Tasker signing autographs. This is going to be a really, really amazing day. It's an amazing night tonight with Ovechkin in town, a chance for 900. Brian's on the call on WGR Sports Radio 550, pregame, intermission, postgame, and then tomorrow all day on WGR, 4:25 p.m. You got Bills, Chiefs. I know the CBS crew is here. They're coming to town. They're going to be here tomorrow for their pregame stuff
It
too.
looks like today, nice weather. Tomorrow, nice weather. Oh, you got Marv.
Oh, look at that. You got a Marv Levy signed photo out of the mystery photo. I love that.
That's great.
Great
Nice,
job.
Jackson. Good pull there.
Good job, buddy. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, the weather's going to be good. Not going to be a factor. When Nance and Romo are by the way, that's the one thing I love. Nance and Romo is my favorite announce team to listen to, and I know Romo can have his quirks, but I love listening to them. That's the being at the stadium. That's a negative of being at the stadium.
No,
I love hearing them.
Buddy, Second Chance Rescues here. Come on by, say hi. I want to thank, of course, Total Sports Enterprises. They're amazing at what they do, folks, and they are the official licensed merchandise dealer for the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres. That's why you see those tables set up at games when they go to Bills or Sabres. They're doing an amazing job. Check them out. And by the way, speaking of golf, if you have a golf tournament or any other fundraising function that you're doing, TSE will run the auction for you. They'll bring the items by. They'll do all that for you. You don't have to do anything.
Amazing.
All right. And they're going to give proceeds to you by doing that. Sports City Pizza Pub, 1407 Niagara Street. Always a great spot to watch the games, eat some wings, have some drinks, have a drink out on the patio. It's getting a little chilly out there. It's a nice time to hang out, watch some games. Herbal IQ, a New York State licensed dispensary, 6300 Transit Road in Depew. Got a great showroom. Check them out. And, of course, you. Thanks a lot for coming to Sal's house. 1,700 live viewers today. We got 1,700 live viewers online. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot to my buddy Brian Koziol. We'll talk to you next time. Stay with me at Sal Sports.